Hey, welcome to my basement man cave here. Dr. Dean Sanna, Portland, Oregon, Posture Correction Institute. Glad to see you back. I've got a couple of interesting things I think you might be interested in listening to. Um, Recently, a friend of mine, as a matter of fact, Cody, what was that you were asking me earlier?
Yeah, it was what were the three things you think mostly affect the human health?
Health of the body? Yeah. Um, well, we talked earlier about the three T's, and the three T's basically are thoughts,
Mhm.
toxins, and
Mhm.
traumas.
Mm.
And when we think about those three and we break those down, pretty much a lot of the things that affect the human body and cause you to have problems have to do with one of those three areas. Like, let's take example, thoughts. Just biomechanically, if you have sort of a depressed posture, you're slouching, you're not being present, fully engaged in what's happening in the moment, your mind will wander and you'll be in positions for hours. We call this position, like when the shoulders roll forward like this from people on computers, in jaw jetting, where the jaw is coming straight out. That's called upper cross syndrome. And whenever your shoulder is in front of your chest, you're on the way forward, you're falling forward. And there's only one thing you can do to prevent that or to slow that if it's gotten too bad, and that's to be doing extension exercises, lifting weights, doing yoga, getting muscle and joint therapy, those kinds of things. But we know this, that if you are under lots of stress, if you're fearful, if you have any kind of aggravation in your body, if you're upset, you're producing certain types of chemistry. And a lot of this fear and flight thing that we've talked about in the past, in past seminars, um, has to do with that you secrete sort of an acidy type of a body and causes inflammation. And even if you think about it, uh, when people are angry and when people are upset, they have a tendency to have more heart attacks and things like that. And a lot of that has to do with producing these inflammatory type chemicals. So when you think certain fearful thoughts, thoughts of anger, anything that's super unbalanced in either direction, either too little or too much, you create a chemistry that will produce an imbalance in the body, inflammation, and from inflammation you can get things like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, osteoarthritis. Um, all of these are some of the basic major illnesses that we suffer from. So, and these are all inflammatory based, and that can occur because your thoughts have actually poisoned your chemistry. And we have a thing we call churn the vinegar into honey, and that means get some aerobic exercise, go out and scream and yell, sing and dance, be creative, write, and sort of discharge this stress in the most creative way you can find. I don't care even if it's pounding nails and breaking glass at the dump. These are all good strategies to help you to dump your stress for the day. But the best one is to drink lots of water, at least 6 to 7 liters of water a day, and try to express your emotions. And so these are some of the strategies that we teach and that we suggest that people use is get exercise, drink lots of water, get rest. You need at least 8 to 9 hours of rest every night. You need at least 6 to 7 liters of water. You need 4 to 5 meals a day, because if you eat more meals a day as opposed to eating three big meals where your body is overloaded and taxed with this tremendous task, it's one of the most calorically expensive tasks to do is to metabolize food. And so you don't want to eat a big meal before you go to bed. You want at least 3 to 4 hours before that. Don't eat sugary things after lunch unless you're going to do some exercise, because from your lips it goes to your hips. So if you eat carbohydrates after noon and you don't get some exercise, you're going to puff up a little bit. So that's not a good strategy. Um, the second thing we talk about when we talk about thoughts, then we talk about toxins. Now, toxins can be actual physical things. They can be things like nicotine and preservatives and steroids in the food and pesticides, all of those things. And we store a lot of that stuff in our fat lipid layers. The oil toxins actually literally can get stored up into your body and your liver, and this is why it's suggested to do a fast at least once every change of season. It's always a great time to make some changes in your life every change of season. Um, and so when we talk about the chemistry, we want to make sure that thoughts, toxins falls into there. But there's also human toxins like interpersonal dysfunctional relationships with people. You know, you've heard the term, this person's toxic, that person's toxic. But basically, you want to live in a more balanced central place. Now, you can go to the fringe edges. You can go really, over to the right or over to the left. You can go, like go hard every night, go dancing, work hard, work out every day, and you can push yourself. Or you can become more of a sluggish couch potato and not get a lot of physical movement. But our suggestion is the more toxin and the more toxic environments you're in, the more you have to increase your water intake and your aerobic exercise and your rest, and watch and position your meals in the day so that you're not stressing your physiology. Like first thing in the morning, drink a couple glasses of water. Great idea. Or hot tea in addition to that. And there are things you can put in your tea, little tinctures of some bitters and things that are good to stimulate the liver and get that flowing. Those things are available at Whole Foods or Nature's and New Seasons, those kinds of restaurants. Those kinds of grocery stores. So when it comes to the thoughts, toxins, you want to avoid toxic people, you want to avoid toxic situations, and the best way to do that is to really set your boundaries clear in the beginning. If you have a problem, immediately clean it up. Go to the person that you have the problem with. And on your priorities list, which you should have every day, there's certain things we all have to do. We all have to be householders and take care of our tasks at home. But at the same time, you keep your life balanced by doing AM and PM meditation. At least a half an hour to an hour. I recommend twice daily. That's the way you start your day. That's the way you finish your day. When you meditate at night, you can dump all your tensions, and you can set intentions for the night when you go to bed. You want to marinate your mind in these positive affirmations of the future things that you want to create and do. That's really the best way to do that. And then in the morning when you wake up slowly. Move all your body parts. Wiggle into your body. These are the kinds of things that you become present. The second you wake up, notice your breath. Coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. Notice it's cooler coming in than it is normally going out. These are the kinds of things being present in your body. Don't be asleep at the wheel. That's probably the best strategy in that department. So the third thing we talk about, we have thoughts, we have toxins, and then we have traumas. Anytime you have a physical or emotional trauma, you need to make sure that you don't memorize that vibration. Someone yells at you, and if you don't say, no, I'm not that way, and put your shell around you of emotional stability and physical protection, then you can't be harmed by that. And I always do something like this. If someone says something I don't like, I say delete, delete, delete. If I like the words of somebody, they say something that I need to hear, I say record, record, record. And you can actually touch your body to kinesthetically ingrain that into your physiology. It's a lot of neurolinguistics programming, things like that. But I have a thing sometimes when I really need to be present, I tap my middle finger right here. Very few people do that. And when you do that, that says, be here now, be present, be fully engaged, pay attention. This is important. And that's how, when you stay in that space with somebody, they really know when you're there. When you're listening, you're making eye contact, your body language is there. Remember, majority of your communication is nonverbal. And tone is more important actually than words. Words are like 7% of your communication. So remember that. Body language is huge. And if you want to get people to do things, or you want people to believe in what you're doing, you have to be boldly enthusiastic. You have to show them that you have strong determination to do what you want to do. So, thoughts, toxins, traumas. The point is, if you have an emotional trauma, you need to talk to somebody, you need to unravel it, and you need to be aware of how that physically felt in your body. You'll notice this when you walk into a room. If you're present with your physical sensations of your body, the pressure of your foot on the ground, the wind on your bare skin, the breath coming in and out, the expansion and contraction of your body, the eye contact, the things that you hear people say, the little twitches, all this stuff, the birds chirping outside, when you're fully present and in that moment, in the now means you're at the helm. You're in charge. You're reading the charts. You're monitoring where you're going. Everything in life has to have somewhat of an idea of what's happening. And then you have to have a way of marking how that worked out for you. So, in the trauma situation, if you injure a joint, you immediately need to see someone that's a joint specialist, somebody like a chiropractor, an osteopath, a sports medicine guy. Have them look at your joints. Make sure that your joints, tendons, ligaments, and nervous system are all in good order. Now, one of the things that we talk about when it comes to traumas is there's, in posture strengthening exercises, we always deal with three elements. Balance, BAM we call it. Balance, alignment, and then motion. So you have to be balanced, strong balance. There are a majority of injuries happening now in the elderly that have to do with falls. It's epidemic. Lots of it has to do with weakened neurological systems, and we can talk more about that in another segment. But you need to get muscle therapy, you need to get joint therapy, you need to do yoga, you need to drink lots of water. I suggest you get in the pool really regularly, 3 times a week, some sort of hydrotherapy, whether it's a hot tub and then you stretch and shower in cold water. Always, whenever you use water, end with cold to seal your pores, to protect your screen door from letting outside what we call pernicious influences from getting into your body. Pernicious influences are like environmental things, like moisture and wind and dampness and too hot or too cold. These things cause your body to have to adapt, and you don't ever want to go out into those elements when your pores are opened. Okay, so get some good advice whenever you get injured, either physically, mentally, chemically, spiritually, emotionally, all of those things. We talk about 5 elements that you have to balance, and I think I'm going to end with this today. We talk about there's a mechanical system in your body. There is an electrical system in your body. There's a chemical system in your body. There's an emotional system in your body, and then there's a spiritual system in your body. And all of this has to interplay and integrate so that you can be a whole person without any real holes in your physicality, mentality, and spirituality. So here's how this works. I can take a physical thing like a penny, and I can take a penny and I can put it in a lamp. And when the person turns that lamp on, it shorts out the whole circuit. Okay, I took a physical thing now, and I've created an electrical problem. Let's say on that electrical circuit is my refrigerator, and I've got a bunch of food in there. And I go to the refrigerator 3 days later after I was away for the weekend on a trip, and I open the refrigerator and the food is rotted. It's soured and it's fermenting and it's just putrid smelling. And I get upset because this food is deteriorated and I've wasted all this money. So I start with a physical thing. I create an electrical problem, which ends up causing a chemical problem, the food rotting and fermenting, okay? I get upset because I lost all this money in food, and now I got an emotional problem. So here I am, all emotionally upset, just in the moment, oh, damn it. And I turn around, the dog's in the way, and damn dog, and I kick the dog to get out of the way. I'm, agitated already. My mind's unsettled. It's like a, sort of a torrential storm. Your mind's up and down. And the next thing you know, you've kicked the dog, and now you got a spiritual problem. All of this started with a physical thing. So spirit can affect mental, can affect chemical, can affect structural. So you have to look at all of those systems every day and think about, how am I doing chemically today? How am I doing structurally? Am I doing my posture exercises? Am I eating correctly? Am I eating a lot of live food? 5 servings of fresh fruits or vegetables, or get some sort of green powder every day. Remember, green will make you lean, and it's good from Dean.